Hi all. Been a little bit quiet of late, certainly since the Man City game. It's been a little bit depressing, to be honest, and to be fair, I didn't really feel like I had anything positive to say, and I'd prefer to be positive than negative, if I'm being honest. I always try to look on the bright side of it and not just get dragged down into the ranting and all the rest of it. And I know that sells YouTube channels and all the rest of it, but it's not really me. It's not my way to just kind of rant and rave and all that. I try to be a bit level-headed about it all, because at the end of the day, it's football, it happens, that's what makes it such a passionate game, because things change so much and you just never know what's going to happen. And certainly in the Premier League, anyone can beat anyone, and teams go through a dip and teams excel, and it kind of happens. So you kind of have to keep your feet on the floor as much as possible. So I've kind of tried to stay out of it, but yeah, so it's been a bit of a reflection period of how it's all gone. Obviously, you can't get away from social media and on all of the things that people are saying and all the rest of it, which is another reason why I try to be a bit more level-headed and positive rather than getting sucked into that. But yeah, it's not going very well at the moment. We all know that. But I guess looking at the last couple of games, let's start with Man City. Man City was was always going to be a difficult game, and I think we all knew that was a likely outcome. I didn't have too much more to say about it. I did a live YouTube with Chris Carlin on the day, and I kind of said everything I felt I needed to say about that. Wolfsburger, well, people will say it's only Wolfsburger, but you still got to go there, you still got to play, you still got to win the game, you still got to do what you got to do, and to be fair, the outcome could have been a lot different had that second goal gone in and not hit the frame. But overall, I felt that you could kind of see some positives in that game. The goal from Bow was obviously a great moment. Great goal, against any opposition. You score a goal like that, it's one to be proud of. It's one he's done many times before. He dropped the defender to his arse and whipped it in, perfectly. Bale of old, that kind of thing. And I think we have seen a little bit of that coming back. For me, it was good again to see Vinicius score, because that's what he's paid for, and that will make him feel that he's doing his job when asked. He can't do a lot more than that. But I certainly feel that some of these guys probably need more minutes to actually get some kind of run in the team and try to really make a difference. So yeah, really surprised not to see Bow and Dele starting against West Ham. I think you have to be gracious to West Ham, as much as that might pain some people. I think you have to be gracious in it, that they're going for a real purple patch. They played well. They did what we've been doing. They got this low block thing going on. They defended well. Our shots were, all over the place. We did attack them, but sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. And that's what's happened. Harry had a good few pot shots, and it didn't come off for him. So, that's the way it goes. But West Ham took their opportunities. But it all comes back to the same old story across the three games, I guess, is that defensively we are so short. And I know that Sanchez is picking up an awful lot of flack, same as Dyer, you know, getting an awful lot of flack. But for me, I think, you know, you've got to go back to the manager and look at what he's doing there and say, well, look, you need to get an effective centre-back partnership to marshal that. You know, you've got to get a couple of guys that can really work together to marshal that and to really galvanise where they are. And I think, you know, the constant chopping and changing is not helping anybody to build up that relationship. You know, one week we've got Toby and Sanchez, another week you've got, you know, Dyer and Sanchez, then you've got Dyer and Toby. You know, it's constantly moving, and I'm just not sure that that's really helping the guys to galvanise their position and really start to form a partnership. So to a certain extent, for me, he needs to choose and get with it. And I understand injuries will make a difference, you know, and if you want to have a bit more pace in the team, or you want to have you know, someone who's a bit bigger aerially or whatever, that you might make a tweak from that perspective. But those guys should be able to do some of that, you know. They should be able to do a bit of all of that, really. You know, Toby's getting on a bit. I don't think we can rely on him totally. Still think he's a great defender. But for me, he kind of needs to make a decision about who's going to be the partnership, stick with it, and get a run of games together that they can really build that relationship, you know. I might be wrong, you know, but that's just me. As I say, I'm not saying that Sanchez and Dyer are the answer. For me, I'd love to see Japhet Tanganga get a lot of game time, and I'd also like to see Rondon get some time, because I think he's a decent defender. But these guys are young, they're brand new. You know, do they need time to bed in? You know, maybe that's where his head's at. You know, but you've got to be looking at that and seeing that that's where your problem lies. You know, essentially we've got some really good attacking talent, but we're leaking goals left, right, and centre. You know, and not really demanding anything from them. So, you know, really disappointing that's the situation. But there is some positives in the Bow situation, and maybe Delhi. You know, maybe they are coming back. It'd be good to see what's happening with Lo Celso, because I think we have missed him. You know, someone who's a bit more of a playmaker. For me, I guess the most disappointing thing about Sunday was on Ndombele. I felt that he wasn't in the game at all, really didn't provide much. And as much as it pains me to say it, you know, Højbjerg is going through a little bit of a sticky patch, which may be down to a little bit of fatigue. You know, he's played an awful lot of games, and maybe he's finding the pressure a little bit too much, especially when someone like Ndombele sort of drifts out of the game. You know, is that really helping him, you know? So, you know, it's disappointing time, isn't it? It's a disappointing time. Lots and lots of questions around Jose Mourinho, and quite rightly so, to be fair. It doesn't matter which way you look at it and which side of the fence you're on. You know, you could be on the Jose inside or the Jose outside, but ultimately now is not the time, in my opinion, now is not the time to change the manager. You know, it's not going to do us any favours at this period. You know, we're not really in relegation danger. We're probably out of the top four. We do still have the Europa League at this moment in time, and we do still have the League Cup. So, you know, if anyone can get us over the line in a final, then it's Jose. You would argue. Whether he will or not, that's a totally different matter, because, you know, to be fair, Man City are looking pretty good, and there's still some big clubs left in that Europa League. But again, if the draw is kind, then you've got to say, well, we're still in it. We still got to give it a go. And the Europa League is one way into the Champions League without getting top four. And if we're unlikely to get top four, then you've got to be putting your eggs in that basket, haven't you? So I don't think changing the manager is really going to make a difference, even if that's something that we all want, or you know, the majority want, or whatever. Strange decisions, strange stuff that he says. We're kind of starting to see the old Jose that we've seen at other clubs, you know, and it is one of those things that we were always concerned about as fans, I guess. What kind of Jose Mourinho were we going to get? Were we going to get the engaging, you know, the guy that, you know, gets the siege mentality and gets the players playing for him, or are we going to see the divisive, blame person that we've seen so many times before? And it kind of just feels like we're getting a little bit of that at the end of it all now. But get a few results go your way and everything can change, you know, things can start looking a little bit rosier. But, you know, it's not a great time to be a Tottenham fan at the moment.